Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. I'm broadcasting from my house in South Minneapolis. And I didn't put a whole lot of thought into what I wanted to say. So forgive me if it's not as organized as I would like it to be. I have to say some things that I would like to share. First and foremost, I stand completely with the Black community who have been victimized, who have been used, who have been brutalized, who have been dehumanized for 400 years in this country, and have given this country nothing but blood, sweat, tears, and beauty. This country was built by enslaved Africans, who, by the way, are the first human beings on the planet Earth. This is the ultimate case of people not loving their parents, people rejecting their parents. African people are the first human beings on Earth. And the reality is that the sciences come from them. The spiritual reality comes from them. Culture comes from them. Art comes from them. Mathematics and all the things that we appreciate. Medicine. All of the things that make life good and beautiful and sweet. And in this country, it's the same. This country was built, and this country became wealthy because of Africans and their children. I'm not saying other people didn't contribute. I'm not saying other people didn't have a hard time. I'm not saying white people don't suffer. Everybody has suffered. But that's not what we're talking about right now. There are white people that experience all types of... my next door neighbor is an amazing white woman who's out protesting. Her brother, who is a white man, was murdered by a cop. When she was in 6th grade, her brother was killed by a cop. I'm not saying white people don't suffer. I'm not saying other people don't suffer, but that's not what we're talking about right now. This country was made wealthy by the enslaved Africans. This country was protected in every war by enslaved Africans. And our lives have been enriched. The reality is that you and I know each other. I have a platform because people think I rap well, and because people think I have something wise and helpful to add. And people think that I add a good something to their lives, to your lives. And I'm so grateful for that. But I've never had any question about the fact that everything that I have to offer was instilled in me by the Black community. And my parents are white. When I was a little kid, I was treated terribly by a very small group of people, but they were the only ones saying anything. Nobody was defending me. When I was a little kid, 1st grade, 2nd grade, it was Black elders and friends that taught me how to live as me, in my skin, and how to understand the way to live. My mom wanted to do that. My white mom, she couldn't do it because her life didn't prepare her for that. She loved me. She wanted to help me. There's a song called Pray For Me. She dyed my hair blonde to try to help me fit in. But she didn't realize that that was going to make me feel like the people who were dehumanizing me and ridiculing me and bullying me were right, and that I should look more like them. It was Black people that said, no, we used to dye our hair too. We used to fry and perm our hair too. And eventually what you have to learn is until you accept yourself, nobody will accept you. And that led to me, all of the people that loved me and cared for me, maybe not all, but the majority of people that cared for me and loved me and made me what I am, all come from the Black community. And then a number of us that were raised in these situations got good at this cultural art form. And so we've been allowed to contribute. And so I want to say, first and foremost, to Black people who see this, you do what you have to do. You do what you have to do. in whatever ways you're doing it, in whatever ways you're doing it. And the only thing that does anybody any good, the only good critique is critique of self coming from others who are not black right now. So I'm saying, I could sit here and in my mind go through all the music that I've made and, you know, difficulty I've had with the FBI and Homeland Security and all of that, and you know, but none of that has helped you. So it's my fault like it's everybody else's fault. So if you're black and seeing this, forgive me. All I have to say to you is, you do what you have to do. To the white people that are in the fight, to the white people who have educated yourselves and to have learned and to have been humble enough and caring enough and loving enough to learn about a really ugly situation that you don't physically have to live every day. But the people that love and care and have been humble and have been willing to be unsafe and have willing to even just a feeling internally of being unsafe, I salute you and I love you, and y'all keep me going. You all are the ones that make me think that it's not worthless for me to be in this body rapping for other people that have a similar body. Y'all motivate me. My first DJ, BK1, if you guys saw me perform back in the day, BK1. I've watched this man be extraordinarily humble and brave. And right now he lives with his white wife and his white kids in a black community. After he got off the road and stopped being on stage, he built a radio station in a community of color in South Minneapolis, right where all this stuff is going on. He gave his life tireless days and nights. It's not corporate, it's independent. And he doesn't speak on the station, he doesn't DJ on the station, he just is in a service role. And he created a platform, and all of the people on that, all the voices on there are black and brown and queer people and First Nations, you know, indigenous brothers and sisters, men and women. And he lives in that neighborhood, and when he's not working on the radio, he gets up every day and serves the people that are protesting. There's no ego in that. That's when we get on stage and say love, say love, say love, say, that's love. And I want to say so it's for all of the white people that are in that space, I salute you. I salute you. It's not easy. It's not easy. The human condition doesn't like to really be with other people and to feel their suffering with them. Especially, it's not fun to look at and to know that my family has benefited from something I hate. Every time I walk on stage, every time I get on the mic, every time I post something, I'm aware that I'm benefiting from things that I don't like, but the reality is I'm going to be a soldier. I'm going to be a soldier. An incorrect soldier that makes a lot of mistakes. It's not about being right. I've made a lot of mistakes. And I will continue to make mistakes because I'll continue to be a human being. But there are some folks that listen to people in bodies that you think are white. You listen to white rappers because you think that they represent you. And then when those people speak out, you don't like it. I love the fact that you're a human being. I'm a person of faith. I believe that the Creator willed you into existence, the same as me. I believe you're a child of, humanity. And so I keep track of that. And black imams, sheikhs, ministers, teachers have taught me that even if what you do frustrates me to no end, and even if I have to fight you, I still will keep track of your humanity. That's the way that the Prophet Muhammad was. That's the way that Ali was, from whom I take my name. That's the way that Dr. Cornel West is. That's the way that James Baldwin was. That's the way that the people who raised me are. And so I strive to be that way. But for any person that's not black that's critiquing black people right now, you need to understand that all of this music, especially, I can just speak from music because that's what I do. But you have missed the point of enjoying black culture, even if it's white people doing it. You've missed the point. You're essentially stealing again. You're stealing the good feeling that comes from black people surviving beautifully, from black people being brilliant and beautiful. And trust, black people don't make beautiful music because of their suffering. Nope. Black people, I've spent a lot of time in West Africa. Black people make beautiful music because they're beautiful people. Black people have not done what's been done to them. Think about this. Think about this. Why do Americans hate terrorism so much? You look at 9/11 and they blew up a building. The horror of that is that 3,000 people died in those buildings. Now, I don't want to get into the theories of what happened. I don't trust the official story of what happened. But in the official story of what happened, the one that most people believe, 3,000 people died in those buildings. And they didn't die because of who they are, what they believed in, or even what their politics were, how they felt about foreign policy. They just died because they were Americans in America for no other reason. That terrorism that, like, I can die just because who I am. It has nothing to do with just because my identity. Doesn't matter what I do or don't do. Doesn't matter what I believe. Doesn't matter who I gave to. Doesn't matter any of that. Someone might kill me just for being me. That's terrorism. And how did this society respond to those 3,000 people being killed? By bombing the Middle East for the last 12 years. Longer than that. How long has it been? How long has it been since 2001? 19 years. We killed over 1 million people in a country that had nothing to do with that. Killed 1 million people over losing 3,000. 3,000 black people were lynched in the Reconstruction time alone. For the people that are saying, what about black on black crime? I hope that your heart can come to life one day. I hope your heart can come to life one day. When I get on the stage, some of my songs are really about straight up mourning in America. These people murder, 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 kill, kill, kill. Straight up, dear black son. You know what I'm saying? Uncle Sam, goddamn. But in between that, it's love, love, love. Say love. Do you love the people that you came here with? Do you love the people you did not come here with? Because the hope is that reinvigorating the heart can do something about this. It's a spiritual problem that we have. When you talk about black on black crime, first of all, that's a misnomer because we don't say white on white crime. Most people are killed by and hurt and victimized by people they live around. Most white people are killed by other white people. Most Asian people are killed by other Asian people. Most poor people are killed by other poor people. When police kill people, that's a paid officer of the state. That's your country killing you. That's your country killing you. Your country is killing you. When you say, why are these people burning down their own neighborhoods? First of all, the real vandalism, the real fires were not set by black protesters. And this isn't something I heard in the media. I've posted some things and people like, you're being brainwashed by the media. I'm in South Minneapolis. I got arrested alongside some of the organizers that are out there. Not this time, in a different period. But I've been with these people. These are people I know. And I've been in danger with making these reports. It was a St. Paul police officer that broke the windows at the AutoZone that started the vandalism. There are white nationalists right now in North Minneapolis. I don't know if they're going to report this, but I didn't learn this from the news. I learned this from people I know and love who have washed my babies in the bathtub, and people that I've cared for their kids, people that people that cared for me when I was homeless. Right now, the police are not answering calls in North Minneapolis. That's an all-black neighborhood. That's where I come from. That's where I grew up. They don't answer the calls because they say, okay, Let's see how you do without us. And so there are white nationalists, white supremacists in North Minneapolis shooting people. It happened all night. Happened all night. Shooting people. And the police won't respond, and I haven't seen the media report on it. Maybe they will. I posted Ilhan Omar talking about the fact that it was not the black community that burned these buildings down. And people are like, all this weird political ideology stuff. I'm not coming at you with political ideology. I'm coming at you as a human being with a heart. And those people, that the black community, are what made me a human being and what made life worth living for me. And the reality is that that's true for you too. All of the things that fans have said to me, you kept me going when I wanted to commit suicide. Your music helped me. Your music, all of the music helped. All the music helps. All this culture has helped. All of this has made life worth living in this country. And there's a lot of beautiful people in this country, but this country has a deep evil right at its core. And it's what happened to the First Nations people, indigenous First Nations, it's what happened to them. That evil, that has never been rectified. And then enslaved Africans were brought here and have been castigated and victimized and brutalized. And what have they done in response? Why hasn't this country burnt down every single day? What's been the response? A great spiritual tradition, a great cultural tradition, a great artistic tradition, hero after hero, legend after legend. And we consume them, and again, I'm talking about the people that are on this. For the people who are humble enough, caring enough, loving enough to educate yourself, I'm not talking to you. And if you are that person, then this isn't making you feel bad. This is making you feel emboldened. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to my white neighbors next door. You know what I'm saying? Who are out here doing it. That's not who I'm talking to. I'm not talking to BK1. I'm talking to the people that are still iffy, or the people who see and they're like, why are they burning stuff down? Why are they burning down their own community? Do you realize a paid officer of the state came into the community and killed a person in broad daylight, and they've been killing thousands of people for hundreds of years. And if you can listen to somebody rap, and if you can watch somebody dance, and if you can watch somebody play basketball and football, and if you can say that that's my hero and I love their music, and if you can party to their music, or even if you can find white people to do it for you, but you don't listen, I'm not talking about a few random political pundits that work for Trump that'll say like, oh, it's not that bad. And the black community does have a full spectrum of positions, but overwhelming consensus is that police violence, state violence, racial violence has been something that has tried to choke the life out of black people for hundreds of years. And what have they given in response? If you're white, I know you didn't personally do this. I know that. I know you know, a lot of white people are saying, I don't know what to do. I don't, you know. And don't ask black people what to do, because, you know, people figure out how to do. People find ways to do what they want to do. If you want to do something, you find a way. Well, what if that's not right? I've made hella mistakes in this thing. Incredible mistakes in public that I can't take back. I'm not gonna outline them right now. But it's not about me feeling good. I'm a slave. It's a whole other thing. I am a slave of God. That's what I am. I'm a slave of God. Sometimes I'm a good slave, sometimes I'm a bad slave. I am a slave of God. I don't know what else to say. I've deleted some comments from people who are derailing the conversation. You can call that censorship if you want. The platform that I've been blessed to build, again, was built because of what was given to me by the black community, who loved me when they didn't have to, cared for me, looked out for me, taught me, trained me, corrected me, fought me, loved me, married their daughters to me. I have nothing but what they gave me, and neither does America. There's not one achievement that America can say that it has that black people weren't on the front lines to create. Not one. In art and culture alone, the only claims that white people have are things that they learned to do from black people in this country. Yeah, the Irish had dope music. You know what I'm saying? All those people back in the mother country, they had dope music, they had culture. There's a song I have called Before They Called You White. And ultimately, what this is going to have to lead to is just like Malcolm X, just like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, my spiritual parents. They would say the so-called Negro. They say just because this country says you're a Negro doesn't mean that you have to believe you're that. At some point, we have to get to the idea of being the so-called white person. That's not a reality that people chose for themselves. People used to be Irish, Greek, Dutch, Norwegian, Italian, and that meant something. I'm sorry, white doesn't mean anything. White doesn't mean anything other than in this hierarchical society, you're supposed to be better than somebody else. And so this is the challenge that white people have when they want to get real. And when they make the commitment, when they make a commitment to get real. I've watched people go through it. I had a little bit different experience. My experience is not the black experience. But I'm an albino everywhere I go, and also I can't see. I'm partially blind. You all know this. Wherever I go, I look a certain way. White people aren't sure if I'm white. So I've had a different experience. It's not the black experience. But once a white person understands that I know that I've been trained to think I'm better than other people, but I don't want that anymore. Then what am I? That becomes the question, and that's a spiritual question. What am I? What is a human being? What is a human being? What does it mean to be a human being? Because membership in humanity hasn't meant that black people can be treated human. So we don't really believe in being human very much. So we got to get back to that. I don't have solutions. People saying, what should I do? What do I do? Everybody will figure out how to do what they want to do. And certainly do not ask black people what to do. I'm going to sign off. There are things that I would like to say that I don't think that I should say. Not because, not for any other reason. I'm going to end this. I care for you all, even those I'm speaking harshly to. I care for you, even if I oppose you. And if you are in any situation other than loving and supporting of the black people who gave you everything you have. And I'm not talking about what your parents did. I'm not talking about the fact that your parents struggled, your grandparents struggled. Yes, they did. Have you suffered? Yes, you have. Are you poor? Yes. Is there capitalism? Is class part of this problem? Yes, it is. Are you privileged in every way? No, you're not. But in a highly competitive society, if some people are going up against the class thing and everything else, and they have the added thing of the fact that this society hates black people because of the fact that we are embarrassed about ourselves, about what we've done. That's why we hate black people. We're embarrassed about what we did to them and have been doing to them, and the fact that they haven't killed us yet. That's what this country really fears about black people. You fear God. You fear the karmic reality of having stepped on somebody and killed and brutalized them for 400 years, and that they did not retaliate. That's what the real fear is. That's why the police are here. Because this country is deeply terrified of what it knows it has done. That's what the fear is about. And that's what the police force is there for. So don't say the police system is broken. The police system is there to protect white people against their victims, from their victims. That's why the police system exists. Are there good cops? Probably. You know, Killer Mike was saying his dad is a cop. Word. That's great. Have there been good cops with good intentions? Definitely. Sure, I'm sure there have. I'm sure there have. None of us have stopped the state from killing innocent people. And yes, there's a million other issues. Those are not the issues we're talking about right now. Those are not the issues we're talking about. And I'm going to tell you this. Whatever problem you're having that's other than anti-black hatred, white supremacy, whatever problem you're having other than that, you solve that problem, the rest of them will fall in line. Solve the problem. Solve the situation of black hatred, of hatred towards black people. Solve that, the rest of them will fall in line. The rest of them will fall like dominoes. A lot of people have unfollowed me, and that's been the case my whole life. I'm sorry. I'm not one of those people that wants to push people away. Like, unfollow me if you think so-and-so. I would love to bring you in. I feel like that's the reason that's the reason that if God has given me some space in your heart, that's why. Because I would like to invite you to be a human being. To be a human being. To be loving, courageous, humble enough to just say, I don't know. I don't know. And I'm not right. I'm going to sign off and say that this is happening. The only accountability that makes any sense to me is this is happening because the things that I've done have not been enough on any front. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.